Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman, and we are here for the New Hampshire preview for the NASCAR Cup Series. First race in the round of 12, Jay.
Yeah, well, we already had 4 eliminations. We'll start the process of looking to eliminate 4 more. Hopefully nobody is truly eliminated yet in this first race of the second round. But we've seen it in the previous rounds. You can set yourself into a bad position starting out. Dig a deep hole and have to come out of it.
Have you had a chance to check out the entry list, Jay?
I did, and I looked to verify there as we went through it. So there is 36 teams for the 40 spots. 6 of them are open. They are the teams that were chartered to start the season but are not now. So they are technically open teams. And that would be 3 from Front Row Motorsports, the number 4 of Noah Gragson, the number 34 of Todd Gillen, and the 38 of Zane Smith. And then 3 2311 teams, which is the 23 of Bubba Wallace, the 45 of Tyler Reddick, and the 35 of Riley Herbst. But nobody will miss the field because we only got the 36. Again, the Northeast, a little bit of ways to travel. If I had the opportunity, though, I would travel up there to New Hampshire.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so it is going to be a fun race to watch this weekend. This race, the first race in the playoff round of 12 for the NASCAR Cup Series is the Mobil 1301 at New Hampshire. Again, it is a 1.058 mile asphalt oval, and that race is Sunday, September the 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, USA will carry pre-race coverage starting at 1:30 p.m. ET, along with PRN and SiriusXM NASCAR Channel 90. They will race a distance of 318.46 miles over 301 laps. Stage 1 is 70 laps, ending on lap 70. Stage 2 is going to end at on lap 185, and the final stage will end on lap 301. Now, where do you watch this weekend? Well, Friday, September the 20th, the NASCAR Cup Series practice and Busch Light pole qualifying will be available on True TV, PRN, and SiriusXM starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, the race is on Sunday on USA, PRN, and SiriusXM starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. A lot to talk about here in the NASCAR Cup Series.
There certainly is. This weekend marks the 58th running of a NASCAR Cup Series race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
New Hampshire hosted one race annually between 1993 and 96, and then 2 races per year between 1997 and 2017, before returning to just 1 race in 2018.
Now, this is the 15th time that New Hampshire has hosted a playoff race, but again, it's the first time since 2017.
Now, the track hosted the opening round of the playoffs between 2004 and 2010, and then it was the second race in the round of 16 between 2014 to 2017.
And I am happy to see it back into the playoffs in some form or fashion. When we look at New Hampshire Motor Speedway's history, it's one of 8 different tracks to host the 4th race of the NASCAR Cup Series playoff. You got Talladega Super Speedway, hosted it in 2006, 7, and 8, as well as 2012. Auto Club Speedway did in 2009 and 10. Charlotte Motor Speedway did in 2015, 16, and 17. In 18 and 19, it was Dover Motor Speedway. Then we had Las Vegas Motor Speedway come in 2020 and 2021. Texas Motor Speedway took over for 22 and 23. The one in there that filled in a bunch of gaps was Kansas Speedway. They did in 04 and 05, 2011 and 13, 14, and 2024. Again, I like the fact that NASCAR is kind of changing up the schedule every year.
And I kind of like this too. A total of 17 different drivers have won the 4th race in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. It shows how competitive it is.
We got one. NASCAR Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson leads the series in victories in the fourth race of the playoffs with 3 postseason wins, 2009, 11, and 16, whereas Joey Logano leads all active drivers with 2 wins in 2014 and 15, and he needs one of those wins this year.
Yes, he does. Now, 10 different drivers have won the last 10 playoff round of 12 openers. From 2015 through last year, 2024.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 4 times a non-playoff driver has won the fourth race in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. 2004, it was Joe Nemechek at Kansas. 2006, Brian Vickers at Talladega. 2022, it was Tyler Reddick at Texas. And 2024, it was Ross Chastain at Kansas. And I really thought Kansas was going to be more of them because I remember Bubba Wallace, but that must not have been the fourth race.
Okay. Now, Christopher Bell won this race last year after NASCAR decided to wait out a 2-hour, 14-minute, 49-second red flag for rain to go back racing with wet weather tires. Now, Bell had the final 64 laps and won the race that ended at 8:10 after he was 9th on the last lap on slicks. The fastest lap on slicks was at 30.032 seconds by Chase Elliott on lap 3. The fastest on wets was 31.565 seconds by Josh Berry, and that came on lap 299.
There was a lot of history there and what determined our future when it came to wet weather tires. From this New Hampshire race. So that was a big part of history there. Now, 4 of the last 9 New Hampshire winners got their first win of the season, and there's a list of those looking for that to add to that stat.
Yes, indeed. Now, in the next-gen era, Toyota won all 3 races, all 6 stages, and led 83% of the laps at New Hampshire. So that's a stat you want to know when making your picks.
No doubt, no doubt. Last year's New Hampshire race had the track's first overtime finish in September of 2014. That was 12 races in between.
And 5 drivers earned their first Cup win at New Hampshire. Most recently, that was Joey Logano in June of 2009.
The driver starting first won once in the last 20 New Hampshire Cup races. Kyle Busch in September 2017. That's a little odd from what we talked about with the Truck Series. There it was. He wanted to be on the front row. Here it seems like it's not as guaranteed.
It does. Now, Chevrolet leads all makes with 19 wins at New Hampshire, but won only 1 of the last 18 races. So that's kind of interesting.
And New Hampshire is the only track where William Byron doesn't have a top 10 finish. His best finish in 7 starts is 11th, which he's done twice, most recently in the fall of 2022.
Now, Christopher Bell won 2 of the last 3 New Hampshire races. So he's kind of at the top of the list this weekend.
I think so. I think that's your favorite heavy hitter when it comes to the Toyota camp too right now. Now, only 5 entered drivers are New Hampshire Cup winners. Kyle Busch does have 3, Denny Hamlin 3 as well. Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and Christopher Bell each have 2.
And Joe Gibbs Racing had at least 1 car finish in the top 2 in the last 13 races at New Hampshire. That's the longest streak by a team ever at any track in Cup.
And the last 8 races of 2025 have been won by 8 different drivers. Love the competition. It tells you how tight it is.
It does. Chase Briscoe, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin lead all drivers in 2025 with 12 top 5 finishes.
And a little bit different names. Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell are the lead all drivers in 2025 with 16 top 10 finishes.
And the driver leading the most laps won 5 of the last 7 races this year.
Now, here's where it's just going to add to Toyota's thought process for this weekend. They have led 78% of the laps in the 2025 playoffs and won all 3 races. Joe Gibbs Racing got all 3 victories in that first round by different drivers.
Mm-hmm. Now, Chevrolet only has 2 top 5s in the 25 playoffs. So that's kind of interesting as well.
And all 12 drivers to advance to the round of 12 have made it to the round of 12 prior. 9 of the 12 have raced into the championship 4. So we always say the cream rises to the top, and this is where it gets really tough.
It certainly does. Okay, now all 4 championship 4 drivers from 2024 are still active and playoff eligible. That includes Blaney, Byron, Logano, and Reddick.
And when you break it down, the competition, this tells you how tight it is. Austin Cindric advanced to the round of 12 with 2,066 points. That's the lowest ever to move on from the round of 16 because that competition is so tight.
It is. Chase Briscoe was the only playoff driver to finish inside the top 10 in all 3 playoff races. The first time a single driver was the only one to do so in the first round.
A lot of people looking at him as kind of a sleeper pick into the championship 4 and having a shot at maybe winning this year. So we'll have to see. Now, Joe Gibbs Racing is that first team to sweep all 3 races in the first round of the playoffs, and the first team since 2015 to sweep all 3 races in a round. And if I'm not mistaken, that was Joey Logano by himself.
And 2 drivers overcame a deficit in the first round. Tyler Reddick was -1 to start round 16. Joey Logano -3 after race 1.
And only 1 driver missed the round of 12 from above the cut line. That was Shane Van Gisbergen, the fewest ever in the first round. So again, people that want to hold things against Shane Van Gisbergen, he actually kind of expected, but I thought did okay.
And playoff drivers averaged 25 points per race in the first round, the lowest of any round in playoff history.
We saw that every race. It was like playoff drivers dropping like flies, having different issues.
Yeah.
Now, there were 31 cautions in this first round. That was the most ever.
And the first round had 75 lead changes among 33 different leaders, both first round records.
Huh. Now, the most points a driver has started above the cut line and failed to move on to the round of 8. That is Kyle Larson in 2017 at +26. That's not a record you want to hold.
No. Now, the most points a driver has started below the cut line and then moved on into the round of 8 is Eric Almirola in 2018. He was -12 points.
And we'll look at where everybody starts here in just a minute. But the average total points for the last advancer to the round of 12 since 2017 is 3,105. We'll see how that matches up with this year's stats.
And both drivers making their first Cup playoff appearances were eliminated after Bristol. That was Shane Van Gisbergen as well as Josh Berry.
Again, take it step by step. They were in it this year. Hopefully they can advance a little further if they make it again next year. Now, 3 of the drivers that rank in the top 6 in average finish in the first 3 races of the 2025 playoffs are non-playoff drivers. And I'm sorry, but they don't give us who those drivers are.
Now, Chase Briscoe, 451 laps led in 2025 playoffs, is the 3rd most all-time through 3 playoff races behind Kevin Harvick with 581, and he did that in 2015, and Larson with 462 that he did in 2024.
I'm telling y'all, you better keep your eyes on Chase Briscoe.
I agree.
So let's look at the clinch scenarios for New Hampshire Motor Speedway with the playoff race number 4. No drivers have clinched a spot yet in the 8 driver field of the next round. Some big bonus points out there, but not enough to clinch in by any means. So the following drivers clinch on their win alone. These are your 12 eligible drivers: Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, and Tyler Reddick.
Do you want to cover the points?
All right, so Denny Hamlin is your points leader. As I mentioned, 34 playoff points that he got to carry forward gives him a 2-point lead over William Byron at 2032, as well as a 2-point lead over Kyle Larson at 2032 as well. Then Christopher Bell at 2028 is only 6 back. Ryan Blaney 7 back at 2027. Man, it's tight. Top 5 there, 7 points apart. Chase Briscoe does start in 6th place at -16. Chase Elliott at -21. Bubba Wallace at -25. And that is where the 8 would be for the cut line at 3,009 points. 1 point below the line then, Austin Cindric at 3,008. 2 points below the line, Joey Logano and Ross Chastain at 3,007. And 3 points below the line, Tyler Reddick at 3,006. So -3 up to +2. Chase Elliott's +4. I mean, that's a tight group, and Chase Briscoe only 4 more above that. So 8 to -3 is the bottom half. Those top 5 are sitting pretty good, from my vantage point anyway. Ryan Blaney at 3,027 at least has 9 points above Chase Briscoe. 6th through 8th there, and then the 4 that are below the line, I think that is wide open.
I agree. We'll know more after New Hampshire, but the points could get a shakeup this weekend if one of those drivers that could, on the verge of being eliminated, come up with a victory. It's going to shake everything up.
Now, I wanted to add something here. Just I know we've been through the one round. Those that got eliminated still maintain their 2,000 point setting. So after another 4 eliminated after this round, they'll fall into that category. So Josh Berry and Shane Van Gisbergen, I know they're a little ways down, technically could race their way all the way up to 5th place in points, because as you get eliminated, you go back into the pool of playoff drivers. So we'll have 4 championship 4 drivers guaranteed to be the top 4 finishers. 5th through 16th then would still be a battle. So Shane Van Gisbergen, I'll start at the bottom there. Josh Berry, 16th, Josh Berry, 2010. Again, he dug himself an absolute monster of a hole. But Shane Van Gisbergen at 2050, Austin Dillon at 52, Alex Bowman at 56. They're still battling right now. As the 4 are eliminated, they will drop down into the 2,000 bracket, and we may see a change up there. It'll be interesting to see how high a driver could get that did get eliminated, and again, could work their way up to as high as 5th.
Yeah, some surprising names on below the cut line, which is 8th place in this round. Joey Logano, he needs a good run at New Hampshire for sure.
Well, and when we look at that, and again, this is where we're talking about the 12 best on the season. I know some of them maybe you haven't seen as strong. Tyler Reddick being one of them, just barely got in on points, was a championship 4 contender last year. So that one's a little surprising. Joey Logano, you mentioned. And then Ross Chastain, again, got the win at Charlotte. We've seen them kind of be streaky, I guess is what I would call. We've seen him show up with a little more speed. I heard an interview with him on Sirius XM, and that was kind of what he said, of speed fixes all. Because if you're not fast unloading and off the truck, qualifying gets them behind. So what they do make up is just to catch back up to where they'd like to have started. But then above the line, too, you look at it, of Chase Elliott hasn't exactly had a stellar season. And we saw that in the stats. HMS and Chevrolet really haven't been all that prevalent in that first round.
Yeah, that's true. And we'll have to wait and see, I guess, what happens this weekend out at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It'll be exciting. We'll have a little bit more flavor of what this next round is going to look like. But Kansas Speedway is next up on the schedule, and that's a 1.5-mile track where a lot of these guys are going to be competitive.
And I feel bad for you and Taz when you look at, just looking ahead, we got some pretty heavy stats here for Toyota and Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell when it comes to New Hampshire. Kansas, I just think back, that one hasn't been a truly dominated track by any driver or manufacturer. Mentioned Bubba Wallace getting a win there when he was a non-playoff driver. Joey Logano has done well there. Kyle Larson fits into that style of track if he's on top of his game, which right now, like I said, Hendrick Motorsports really didn't seem to be in this first round. So we'll have to see where they're at when they get to Kansas.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to show up, but quite honestly, they didn't. And we'll see if that trend continues in this next round for sure. Anything more you want to say before we move on, Jay?
It's one of those things. Again, I listen to Sirius XM a lot, spend a lot of time in my vehicle going up and down the road, but HMS was a little off of where they should be. Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing has been a lot above where they've been at. So that makes it really seem like a real widespread. It may not be as bad as what we're seeing when we look at stats and whatnot, but a little off and a little above just widens that gap. And again, you only got 3 races. You got to get on it right now.
Exactly. Do watch for more coming from Fan for Racing Radio. We've done all 3 previews, for the NASCAR Cup Series and the Truck Series at New Hampshire, as well as for the ARCA Menard Series. They're racing at Salem Speedway this weekend. And then Taz and I did the fantasy report, so all of that should come out sometime this afternoon. What I don't get done this afternoon will be out first thing tomorrow morning. And then on the other side of the race weekend, Sal and I will be back for the reviews of all those races, as well as our live stream for NASCAR Hot Topic Sound Off with Jay and Chris, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Jay and I will do the previews for the following week's races, which is going to be Kansas Speedway. So can't wait for this weekend to unfold, Jay.
All right. And I know what you're getting ready to put up there. Before you thank the fans, I want to thank you. I know you put in a lot of work. You just talked about that and what videos you can get edited that we've already done today. So Sharon, appreciate you and the work you do just so we can have this platform.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do want to take time to thank all of our viewers, though, too. We're up to 86 subscribers now, and we appreciate each and every one of you. We hope you enjoy what we do here at Fan for Racing Radio as much as we enjoy doing what we do. So I'm looking forward to the weekend of racing. And Jay, are you going to be at a racetrack this weekend?
I am going to be in a lot of different places this weekend. Our church has our food distribution tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to have to probably leave that a little early to go do a car show at the Mission, place to help men trying to get back on their feet and on the right path. And then I'm going to probably have to leave that early if I go up to Mount Nebo, Tennessee for a motocross show. We'll see what kind of energy level I got throughout the day.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well,
like I said, I spend a lot of time in my vehicle up and down the road.
I hope you have a good time. And
right.
I hope everybody enjoys the weekend of racing. We'll look forward to seeing everybody on the other side of the race weekend.
Enjoy the weekend.